Hello again, it's Lock Noob and you're watching my side channel, Side Noob, and yes, in front of us is a completely disassembled, fully picked Banham M2002 12-pin Dimple lock with opposing reverse sprung pins. And I imagine it's going to be an absolute nightmare to repin. We've got to do it backwards, so these are in pairs with the pins on this side being the left hand side, so it's more like this, and the ones on this side being the right hand side. Here is the oh, didn't need to do that, but here is a whole spacer bar which goes in this side, which is longer. You just drop that down into the lock. It doesn't really matter how we put that in, just slide it in. And then the cam piece, which needs to be dropped in and again just coaxed into position. If it won't go, you can mess around with the cam a little bit and make sure that it's fully aligned. You can see down here, as you turn it, you'll get space for that cam to fit, and that's what we're looking for. So we'd get it about right, and then we would try to manipulate it into its position by a bit of brute force and jiggling. And these cam pieces are always a bit of a pain, and it will punish you. But I think we've got there. Yeah, perfect. You can see it all drop down. Right, we'll leave this piece alone, but the lock actually just sits inside that body, so I'm going to move this right out of the way. Another thing, so there is a small, I think they're called Murphy balls. There's a mechanism which, can you see this little detent just inside? I'll get my pick and show you. Just there. That's a locating ball. Is it essential? Yeah, not really, but yeah, it is a bit. And that will need to go in first, like this, because we need to actually put that that pin there. Sorry, the spring in here, which is going to be super fiddly. It's the tiniest spring in the world, teeny tiny, and pop that in the top here. And I do not want to lose this, so I'm going to just take this out for now and put it in. I've got no idea where or how I'd replace a spring that small, so in it pops just like that. And then there's this little tiny ball bearing. Come on, focus, there we go. Which just sits on top. I mean, look at that, that's ridiculously small. And then that should, so we've got to get it right way up, which is this way. And that should just gently, if I push it down my thumbnail, go in like that. And that is enough for now. Right, now you can see these 6 chambers either side. So there isn't a good way of doing this at all, as it happens. You need to pop in a spring and a pin. So pin, a spring, and they do jump about. And then you've got this little cap, like that. See? And that is the inside with the little shape to it. So there is no good way of doing this at all. None, in fact. It's just horrific trial and, well, not trial and error. It's just a big fiddle. So what you can do is you can tuck that in one side like that, rotate your finger round, and then try the other side while you're supporting the pin from the other side. So like this, then you put this one in. Ooh, see how those springs like to get away? And they do. And they, oh, it's off onto the carpet. Come back. I might actually get a rare pinning mat out, just so that I have a small chance of these springs not all jumping all over the place. So I might cut away and come back with one of those. Right, so then once you've got 2 in, you can just gently slide it down like that. Whew! And yeah, you can push it all the way to the back. That's absolutely fine. So like this. And we can test that we got them in the right place before we go any further by putting the key in, and of course it should turn the lock nicely, and we can withdraw it all the way back out once I've got the key in. So just pull it back, but not all the way out to the point where you're going to let go of your, there you go, your pins. So that's the next position, and we just rinse and repeat. Right, I'm just going to go get a pinning mat so that it will reduce the bounce on this hard ceramic surface, and I think that will do us. So it's literally a case of rinse and repeat, and hope for the best as we go along. Pin, probably use my fingers, spring, make sure the cap is the right way around, which is that way, pop it on top, push down and secure it as we turn to the other side, then withdraw it with my finger over the bottom and repeat. Pin, try and get it centered, fat spring, there we go, cap the right way up, and these little caps keep the spring in and out of the way, so then we can just push that in again to the next position. So there we go, and turn it back round to this side. So that bottom of the keyway signifies it's the left hand side, and we just keep going through. It can be easier, just use your fingers. You can use your pin tweezers if you want, but there's no right way because it's all really fiddly. And again, just while you swap sides, push it in, turn it around, put your finger over, withdraw it, and try this one. And I'm hoping, because I don't have to pick it again, I'm going to keep going down, and it's going to be complete right first time. Like this. And one of the cap has escaped to the other side, but that's okay. In you go, spring. There's two caps, so one here. That's right. And put that one on this side, like that. Make sure nothing's trapped, push it down, and just feed it through again. Turn it around, and go to pin matching pair 3. And hope for the best, really. Push it in, swap it over, withdraw it, keep your finger over the end. These springs are very light and not very powerful, but even though they're not very powerful, they're so light that they seem to fly and bounce and rebounce so horrifically that if you just don't get it right, so see, that's why I was glad I got a pinning mat. They will go much, much further than you expect. So please use a pinning mat or a towel or something to reduce the amount of bounce that these will have, and locate that centrally, push that in, turn it over. Honestly, just anything like a towel, an anti-slip mat, anything that has some baffles on it, just to take away the bounce. I've seen some really cool bar mats and soldering mats and all sorts of things that you could use which could do the same kind of job. And just pop that cap on again. Oh, that's bounced out. Come here. Not sure why we're not playing ball. Come here. Oh, just doesn't want to play, does it? Maybe slide in that key if I can. No, not yet. Okay. Might be because it's just. Usually slide this straight out, but okay. I might need to semi-pick it, if that makes sense, just to get this to turn. There we go. And that should be a bit easier to slide it in now. Come here. There we go, slide that on, move it in, turn it around. Next side. Another security pin. again, I'm just going to use my fingers. It's going to be so much easier. There we go. Oh, the right way up, but it's in a deep groove, so I need to... There we go. Perfect. Side in, turn round, last pair. I think we're doing okay so far. Famous last words, a nice long security pin this side. Got tiny little spools on, very cute. And this one goes in on top. And just pushes in, goes round, just gently pulls out. Not much room to manoeuvre here. Last pin. Last spring. Try not to crush it with my fingers. It escaped, but we caught it on the mat. There we go. Perfect, and then there we go. Last one in. Push it around like that, and then we've got the little locating ball at the top. All the pins in the right pin chambers. Push it in. Turn it around. It should lock. If we got it right, the key should work, and it does. I'm so grateful for that. And then the last thing we need to do is put this little half moon on top, like that, and push it down so it's flush. There we go, nice and flush. There seems to be a little wafer in here. I'm assuming it's some part of a master system, but since the key works really well, then I'm just going to leave it the way it is. This core then goes in, and you've got to make sure that that little notch there really is, so if that little half moon isn't fully pushed down, it won't go in. This lock is actually made quite precisely. There we go. Don't force anything on this lock. Yeah, push that in and make sure this little notch or hole aligns perfectly with the bottom of the lock. And when I mean perfectly, because this little pin needs to go straight into it. And if I push that down inside, I shouldn't be able to withdraw the core anymore if it's right. So that seems pretty good actually. Let's come out, so just drop that in. Okay. Make sure that's perfect. And then put these in, but not too tight, 2 grub screws. But you do need to make sure, absolutely make sure that this whole thing is in nice. You'll know it's in because, there we go. That's got to be straight. Now, once that's straight, you should be able to tighten it a little bit more. Do not tighten it all the way down unless you checked that that little pin is located straight into the bottom. What will happen is you'll crimp the inner sleeve to the inner core by torquing down these grub screws, and yeah, it'll ruin your lock. It'll absolutely ruin it. It won't turn anymore. It'll be too rough. And then we can just turn this up, put this grub screw on, and turn it into place. And that is it. Just finger tight, no more. And there we go. Smooth as butter. Bit awful to put back together, but by no means the worst. Yeah, not too bad. There we go. Ah, yeah, it turns out that the little brass wafer's actually part of the key retaining mechanism to make sure that the key can't come out when it's at the 180 degree position. So it just popped it in on this side on position 3, and that seems to work fine. Sorry, just thought I'd say.